Hi everyone, Kelly here, and today I'm doing my second installment of my Keep, Read, or Unhaul videos. And these are videos where you get to vote on some books and what I do with them. And so what I'm doing is I'm going back to 2018 and the books that I bought in February of that year and looking at what I still haven't read. And then putting it into three categories that you vote from. If you didn't watch the first video, if you vote for the Keep, it is like books that I'm just gonna keep, not read right now, but that you think that I should definitely keep. The second category is read, which is you vote for a book that I should read, and if I don't get it read, then I unhaul it. And then the third one is a book I just unhaul without even trying to read. And last month I had 15 books to put in the category, so that was kind of intense. But this month, I must have done better in February of 2018 because I only have 7 books. Either that or I read a bunch of the books that I bought that month. And so some of these categories only have 2 to choose from, which might be a little more intimidating because if there's one I want you to go towards, there's more likely that you might not when there's only 2 choices. So I also am this time trying to make things a little harder for me because I really want to unhaul books that I'm not interested in anymore or like make myself read books. So I'm just gonna force some books into categories to make them unsafe so you really get the choice here. And yes, I do still have my Christmas garland up and it is quite a ways into January, but pretty much I just like the lights and I don't want it to be dark in my living room. So I'm just like keeping it as long as I can. So it might be here through January just because I can't like part with a little light brought into it. I just love Christmas decor. So yeah, judge me if you want. All right, so my first category for you to vote on is a book to keep. And last month, this one wasn't very exciting because I put all like my Barnes & Noble's nice editions in there to kind of keep them safe. But this time, I put in at least one book that if you don't vote for it, I'm gonna unhaul it. So you're definitely voting for me to save a book and keep it safe. And that book would be American Gods by Neil Gaiman. When I bought this book, I didn't realize it was gonna be the mass market paperback version. It's huge and nothing is really compelling me to pick this up because it is such a hard book it's hard to read a mass market paperback that's like this thick. And so I haven't picked it up. And I know Neil Gaiman is really popular, but I've only read a couple Neil Gaiman books and they weren't like 5 stars for me. They were like 3 stars. And I didn't read like his most famous necessarily. So I feel like I should give this a try, but I'm really tempted to unhaul it. So if you think I should definitely keep this and give it a try, then vote for me to keep it. If you vote for me to keep it, I do not have to read it in February, but I will like actively try to read it in, like this year sometime. But you could vote to keep it. And if you don't vote for this one to keep, I will unhaul this one. And then the other one in this category is Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. And this one, I did read the first chapter for a try chapter and I enjoyed it. I do want to read it. So yeah, and this is, in case you don't know, this is about a girl who I think she's from Pakistani culture. Yeah. So her family's from Pakistan, but living in America, and she has an American boyfriend. Her family doesn't like that, so it takes her to Pakistan to have an arranged marriage, I believe. I don't want to quote on that. I know that Books and Lala had read this recently and said it was pretty intense, so I do want to read that book. So you are choosing which of these 2 books I should keep. So just so you know, if you vote for Written on the Stars, I'm going to unhaul American Gods. And if you vote for American Gods, I will keep it to safe for a little while longer and try to read it at some point. So that's the first poll that'll be up under the eye. And the second poll is a book that I need to read or unhaul. So I have 3 books here that, at least 2 of these I've put on TBR several times and still haven't read them. So this is good that I'm going to be pushed to read one of these. And the first one is And Again by Jessica Chiarella. And this one I've never put on a TBR. So another reason to do this is for me to like pull these books out and be like, some of them I haven't even thought of for 2 years, but then I read the synopsis today and I was like, this sounds really interesting. Why haven't I read it for 2 years? So hopefully this will push me to pick it up. And this is it's kind of like a sci-fi about these people that have chosen to be given this medical cure that'll completely make their body genetically perfect, but then I think they also in that process lose a lot of their memories. So say if they were an artist, they have to relearn that art and all that stuff. So that sounds like an interesting futuristic kind of book. I have The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. I just had this on my TBR for December and didn't read it. I think this is about bunch of people living in Alaska, and I think it's kind of like vignettes or stories about how they connect, something like that. I don't even know for sure, but it's short. I should just pick it up. And then the last one in this category is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I think you guys know what this is. This is a classic. And I think that most people will vote for Jane Eyre. I think Jane Eyre will get the most votes just because it's a classic. People have been telling me for the last 2 years to read this book every time I put this on a TBR. If you do vote for this, this will finally give me the push to read it. But because I already kind of think Jane Eyre is going to win, and it doesn't seem very fair to have a poll where there's an obvious winner, I'm going to say that whoever gets the second most votes, I might be, by saying this, make everybody vote for the other two, but if Jane Eyre still wins, I will also make myself read the second most books. So the two that get the most votes, I will read or unhaul in February to make it a little more challenging for me. And then the last category is a book that I would just unhaul without trying to read it. And I have two books in this category. First is First We Are Four by Alexander I just looked up how to say this and I forgot. Suri? I don't know. I'll look it up again if I end up not throwing this out, like unhauling it. I'll look it up before I actually do read it. But this one I had put on I believe my November TBR for whenever Books and Lala did her like buzzword-a-thon about numbers. I started to read it. I listened to the first chapter on the audiobook and I was just like not really interested. So I'm thinking that it could be an unhaul. The like summary sounds interesting. It's about a secret society of, I think that's young adults that kind of gets out of hand. So, but if you want me to unhaul it, I'll get rid of it because like I said, I read the first chapter, wasn't super into it. And the other one is The Color of Our Sky by Amita Tracy. And this one I haven't even tried picking up in 2 years. So that's why I'm putting in the possible unhaul, because I could unhaul this without a problem. But it does get really high ratings on Goodreads. So that's why I want to give you guys the chance to vote, because maybe if you've read this or you think it sounds interesting, maybe you'd rather me get rid of this one instead. And from the description, this is about a young girl in 1980s India who has just come of the age where she's about to be sold into sex trafficking, and to escape that, her family sends her to be like a servant in a rich family's house in Mumbai. And her and the girl from this family become friends. You know, they get really close, and then 7 years later, she is kidnapped, and I believe she is then sent into human trafficking. And then we're following the girl from the rich family 10 years later, where she's an adult now and is looking for her friend and kind of digging into the world of human trafficking and finding out secrets from her family as well and things like that. So it does sound interesting, but I have never even thought to pick it up in 2 years. I've never heard anybody talk about it. This was a pure cover buy from Book Outlet. So I wouldn't be crushed if you voted for me to unhaul it. So choose which of these two you want me to unhaul. So that's it. All the polls will be up above. I would really love to be able to share with you guys the results from my January one, but since we're still towards the first half of January, I have a lot of time to read those books. So what I'm gonna do is in my TBRs, I will reveal what was voted on. So I don't know what day exactly I'm gonna post this on, but I'm gonna give you guys about 2 weeks between this video and my TBR to like vote. And then I will, in my TBR video, reveal what I'm going to read in January, what I'm gonna unhaul, and then I'll also update you from January of did I read all the things I had to read, and if not, what else am I unhauling and stuff like that. So that's the way you'll get updated. So if you wanna know the results to this, always look for my next TBR video about 2 weeks after this video. So that's it. Don't forget to vote up above, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.